Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. That's the latest and greatest Bentayga. I saw one of those, well, not that model there, an older model in Warrington a few weeks ago. It was in my rearview mirror, and it's a damn wide car. The width of it is virtually the same width as a lane in a road over here. And if I was gonna buy a Bentley with that kind of money and that kind of regular income, that would be the one I'd have a look at, as it's about the only Bentley I particularly like. As you know, I like cars, so I decided to have this week to have a look around, see what I could find in about cars in relation to men and women. So looking around, I found this. As you can see, it's ABC News. Now this was done on July 3rd, 2019, so it's quite an old piece, but it's somewhat relevant to what's going on today. As you can see, it says it's time for car companies to wake up. Women are now the focus of the industry. The industry has been slow to recognize the buying power of women. So if you drop down, it's sales of automobiles in America are in a slump. Could women be the answer to the industry woes? And it says automakers have once struggled to connect with female buyers are increasingly looking to attract women into showrooms with vehicles that offer more safety features, economic controls in the cockpit, and higher fuel efficiency. And women are a massive segment, half the population, naturally. And then how do you target women? That's what automakers are asking. And then it goes into sales. 16.9 million cars sold in America, down from 17.3 million in 2018. And it says, the fact that women are marrying later in life or remaining single have put women in the driver's seat when it comes to buying cars, creating a significant opening for sellers. All very well, but if the women are up to their ears in debt after going to college, then they won't have much money to buy a car. So they probably try and get in with a guy so they can use his money to buy a car. And then it says 62% of all cars sold in America were bought by women, according to research from Cars.com, which also found that women influence more than 85% of all car purchases. Well, if she's on her own as a strong, independent woman, they'd be 100% of all car purchases. And then it says women have been important to the industry for decades, and the industry has recognized. The industry has been slow to recognize the buying power of women because the industry has been run by men and car guys. Naturally, it's a male-dominated industry. It was created by men. And he says car companies that catch on with women will have a real sales advantage. It's time for car companies and dealers to wake up. And then it goes interesting bits. Displays will be different in cars because of women. We see the simplicity of gauges, less of a tachometer. Women are less impressed with horsepower and high-speed handling. They want cars that look nice. Styling is important. In other words, the cars are becoming sort of feminized, a feminine quality. If you've seen cars like that, then you'll understand. It says women are less likely to choose masculine vehicles like high-performance sports cars and muscle cars and trucks. The Ford 150 is the top-selling truck in America, all across America virtually. And instead they're springing for compacts, SUVs and sedans. The most popular searches for women in Cars.com are the Honda Civic, Honda Accord, Chevrolet Equinox, Ford Escape, don't know that, and Nissan Altima. So if you're in America, this is the kind of car that you mostly see women driving. Then it goes, unlike men, women don't make buying decisions purely based on make and model. Instead, their concerns are practical, how much cargo space is available, how comfortable are the seats? Is the vehicle reliable over the long haul? Well, I can agree with that last one. And then women are more likely to ask their social network and ideas as they try to decide on the right purchase. In other words, women will ask all their women friends about cars. And then it says we see a lot of automakers going to different publications, lifestyles, magazines and social media to present their cars. So if you're a guy, next time you're in an American news agency, just have a quick flick in an American women's magazine, and if you see a car advertisement, then you know that this is the reason why. It says, Indeed industry watchers say that female buyers are being considered at every stage in the manufacturing and selling process. So they're after the female dollar. But once again, if they're up to their ears in debt via the college loan, then they're not going to have that much money to consider buying a car. And then it says more yada yada. Rebecca Linland, an independent auto analysis, says she's seen a dramatic shift in advertising to vehicles to women. Includes ads that leave out men altogether, but that approaches risks. It's tricky market specifically to women without alienating men. If you've seen the adverts on the TV, the man is always portrayed as an idiot, and it's a woman who's the brains in the family. So you're going to see that increasingly for advertising in cars. Anyway, it goes down. Women feel comfortable driving a car marketed towards men, but guys don't want to drive a chick's car. Too right in that. It doesn't look right. The shift is reflected in hiring. Women engineers are being put in charge of designing SUVs and pickup trucks. Dealerships are actively recruiting female sales assistants. That could have been in 2019. I don't really know how it's now in 2024. And then it says, Jess Sheldon, an analyst in LMC Automotive, told ABC News that the stereotype of car dealerships as boys' clubs has been recognized as outdated. I was never in the thought that a dealership was a boys' club. It's just a place to buy a car. And then the industry has been slow to recognize the buying power of women. And then we're going to Aston Martin. They established a female advisory board to work in conjunction with the marketing, engineering and design divisions of the company. That could be a reason why the latest Aston Martins, like the DB12, has a more feminine, woman's-like touch, more curvy and things like that. The 8 female members act as a sounding board for products and business decisions. And the first SUV, the DBX, that is why it looks the way it does. It's curvy, it's got feminine lines to it. So now you know the reason why it was predominantly designed by women, probably aimed at women. I really just don't like the new DBX. It just doesn't look right to me. That's why I would prefer to buy that. Anyway, it says Aston hosts many female-focused events throughout the year and makes a point of attending them all. Now, Aston Martins are expensive cars, you'd know. If a woman's got her own money, fair enough, good luck to her. But more often than not, the woman driving a Aston Martin is married to a rich man who can afford to buy an Aston Martin, so it's not her money that's paying for it, it's his. And it says, in the Aston Martin, we're bringing women together as a community around the Aston brand and their love of cars. We are trying to create an exposure for the brand. We have seen these events translated into sales. Once again, is she the wife of a rich man who can afford it, or is she a strong, independent woman who's got wealthy on her own efforts and she's using her own money? That's debatable. And then it goes down into Jaguar Land Rover, the Range Rover Evoque. I've never seen any guys here in Warrington driving an Evoque. When I've seen him, it's always usually, well, maybe once or twice, but most of the time I've seen a Evoque on the road, it's a woman behind the wheel. And it says, females account for 40% of Evoque sales in the 2024 model year. Once again, did she buy it herself with her own money that she'd earned herself, or did her husband buy it for her? And then he says that number of Evoque jumped to 60% 4 years later. One reason women gravitate towards the SUV, better storage and practicality. And that's the Evoque. Quite nice, but once again you can see it's got feminine female lines to it. And then smaller SUVs are easy to maneuver. They also offer increased height and visibility, make it easy to see the road. And German, the Audi, 40% of Audi drivers are female. If you're in America and you see Audis on the road, just have a look, see what sex the driver is. Is it male or female? The Q3 SUV, which was got a redesign this year, attracts more women than men, with women accounting for 65% of sales. Like I said, those of you who are over in America, if you see a Q3 SUV Audi and there's someone behind the wheel, just have a quick glance to see if it's a male or a female. You'll probably find that it's an American woman and not an American guy. And then women are extremely important to Audi, I would say, because 65% of sales. We're constantly getting feedback from women buyers. Women have inspired Audi engineers to rethink parts of the vehicle. Adjustable headrests and seat belts, door handles, run flat tyres. The buyer perspective also gives Audi better cars for everyone without question. Except that Audis are in a bit of a slump, just like Mercedes-Benz. Now that's ABC. Over in South Korea it's a similar pattern, but this was done on a 5th of August this year. This is a Chosun Daily. Auto industry witnessed growth in women car buying power. And it's mostly about South Korea. It's a bit iffy, but there's one or two interesting things in it. South Korean auto industry major focus is on women, so they've seen the power of the female dollar, or won, or whatever they use in South Korea. Despite high interest rates and inflation dampening over on car purchases, there was a little bit of optimism that electric vehicles would offer a solution. Well, electric vehicles are on a road to nowhere at the moment because the infrastructure is not there, and there's been so many horror stories of electric vehicles catching fire and exploding, and it's not time for all electric vehicles, no matter what the government say. It says, however, the expectation hasn't been fully realized. Naturally, the infrastructure is not there, the power generation capacity isn't there. As a result, the industry is redirecting its attention from the 50s and 60s to potential female customers. And then about the Korean Automobile Importers and Distributors Association. Men registered 107,140 cars last year, but women registered 55,417 cars, down only 3.8. Consequently, women comprise a notable 33.9% of new imported car owners, up 2.4% from 5 years ago to a record high. Then it goes on about sales. The rise of women's purchasing power in the automobile market is closely linked to increase participation in the workforce. Well, if women are not getting married, they have to fend for themselves, and then they enter the workforce. There you go, what's that? Kim Jong-un badges make debut at North Korea official event. I'll have a look at that later. And then it goes, sorry about that, people. And then it goes, this increase in employment, particularly among highly educated and married women in their 30s. But in South Korea, you've got to get married in your late 20s, but South Korean women are laser focused on their career, so that is a bit of a misdemeanor, has contributed to their enhanced economic standing and spending. Many of these working mothers seek to purchase cars to manage their familial responsibilities, i.e. children, while engaging in various social activities. And then it goes statistics, the South Korea pattern highlighting, and the rising cars, and then the models preferred by female customers. I don't know any of those. That one I think I've seen, but I have no idea. Probably a different name of the model over here in Britain. And then recent years have been a shift in women's car buying preference towards larger vehicles, particularly SUVs. Now that could be a good news for American car makers that make SUVs. It says, while previous female customers tend to favour compact cars that ease of driving, many of the smaller models are now being phased out. Instead, mid-range and larger vehicles are gaining popularity, offering a wide exterior colours and appealing designs. And then it goes on about SUVs. Last year saw a significant shift, with the top 5 comprising 2 sedans and 3 SUVs. This trend underscores the increasing popularity of SUVs among South Korean women, while the appeal of sedans appears to be on the decline. So General Motors, with their Cadillac SX4 and the SX5 that was on my wallpaper last week, if they've got their skates on and they've seen the light in the tunnel, they could probably market the smaller Cadillac SUVs in South Korea. But that's a open debate whether they do it or not. And that is that for that. Let's have a look at North Korea, see what that brings up. Just a tangent, people. Kim Jong-un by the North Korean national event. That's Kam Sung-nam, head of Workers' Party International Department, seen wearing a badge. Kim Jong-un's face on it. No. No picture of it. Portrait representative family. Nah. Nothing much. I'll naturally put all these links below so you can have a look at that yourself. But anyway, South Korea have seen the growth of women's car buying power. Now, going back to 2023, December 6, says, as you can see, this is Wired. Women buy more cars, so why are designs so macho? So car design is now gonna be the target of the feminists, so stop it being more orientated towards men and more orientated towards women. And then it goes on about most Cybertruck, which is a total failure. Car design is largely geared towards men, even though women buy more than 60% of new cars sold in America. EVs are the chance to right that wrong. Now this is more or less a party piece for EVs, but as you know, EVs sales are dropping in America and across the Western world, so you can take this as yesterday's news and not really that relevant. Anyway, it goes down. It's very hard to think auto design in a recent memory of testosterone fueled. Overly mailed Tesla's Cybertruck. About it. British car designer Adrian Clark has described the EV styling as a low polygon joke, one that exists only in the fever dreams of Tesla fans. And then it goes more about the truck, yada yada. Musk is not alone in preferring such a thunderously masculine automotive aesthetic. Tesla's new flagship merely represents a current peak of male-orientated auto design. And the Shanghai-based electric car maker is right up there as well. But electric cars are on a decline. And then Nissan's preposterous Hyperforce concept, which debuted in the Japanese Mobility Show in October, and looks like it's driven straight out of Death Race 2000. That was released in 1975. I was 19 then. Good movie, years ahead of its time, and I remember the controversy about the whole concept of it. Anyway, it says there's clearly a market for the Cybertruck, just 15% of pre-orders. Well, the Cybertruck is going to be a total flop with its the things on YouTube. It's not what they say it is. It's just ahead of its time, and it's going to be not selling very well. It says would equal the annual US truck sales of Toyota. Not a chance. And then it goes, the dispute auto arrival electric powertrains are nearly 50-50 split in men and women drivers in America alone. But as the other YouTube channels have said, the electric cars sales in America are in decline, and Americans just don't want it, and they're going back to gasoline powered cars or diesel powered cars. And then it goes on about the main topic of this article, rethink the automobile. Legendary industrial designer famously said, limit everything to the essential but do not remove the poetry. The car was certainly most prominent in the 20th century. The combustion engine is now grumpily heading back door, with government demanding a synthetic fuel loop and a coming ban. Well, Biden is having second thoughts about banning the ICE vehicles. So, once again, this is old news. And then traditional internal combustion engines are loud, complicated, take up a lot of space in the car's body, but they're 100-year-old technology that's well understood, and they're always being refined. The internal combustion engine will be around for decades to come, no matter what the government says, with its net zero obsession insanity. And it says electric vehicles require no ICE, no transmission tunnel, but they have a battery under you which can burst into flames at any minute and barbecue you and all the people inside your car. In I think it was Australia, there was a hybrid Volvo that caught fire, and without the fast reaction of the grandparents, his grandson would have been barbecued and cremated in the back. As it is, the grandparent that got it out, their father, he suffered 60% burns, and the little girl also had some burns. So the Volvo hybrid cars are a mobile death trap. I'd never have one, so, but anyway, it says require no electrical transmission tunnel, but the battery is the main drawback because it's a mobile bomb, an inferno. And it says many aspects of car design can change with shift to EVs, and more yada yada, more yada yada. And where is it? Here we go. This bit was interesting. The list of cars designed by women since then remains tiny, according to the Women's Automobile Network. Marlenia Corveshi was the first female design lead at a major manufacturer. Gina Brazar, it was actually Mimi Van der Molen was behind the design of the Ford Probe. Now, there's the Ford Probe. If you're in America and you see them on the road, you'll know that that was designed by a woman. And she used to be trained as an interior designer, was lately charged on designing the Ford Taurus. So if you see a Ford Taurus, you know that was also designed by a woman. And then the Probe, specifically in this case to make driving one better for women. She often recognized the design behind tactile controls, rotary designs, and digital interior control panels have been widely quoted as once telling her boss, "If I can solve all the problems inherited in operating a vehicle for a woman, it'll make it much easier for a man to use." But men generally don't want to use things that are easier for a woman. It's just different to the guys. Anyways, more yada yada. And it says the BMW 2Z4 was designed by two women, if you ever see one on the road. And then more yada yada. Outside diversity, equity and inclusion programs to boost talent outside of OEM, original equipment manufacturers. You have to dig pretty deep to find niche opportunities to connect women with the auto industry. And then McLaren launched 60 Scholars of STEM program meant for boost female participation in the industry. But STEM is more a male dominated thing. Alright, there's some clever women, but generally it's a guy's thing. It's engineering, that's predominantly the domain of men, not women. And it says creating a career path for women of mentorship aged 18 to 23. The college graduates in America aged 18 to 23, how many of them are wanting to go into the auto industry as car designers? And then where's the other one, that bit that I wanted to just mention? Probably gone over it. I did this late before, that's why it's like that, people. Buick. Seen thing linked to official notion Buick, SGP. Must be the next bit. There we go. Buick has been redesigning its brand unabashedly for women. So any Buicks you see on the road, it's preliminary aimed at women. They're tools, their interior for the female buyer with lighter controls, larger sunroofs, and a cabin that's designed to make you feel good. Buick has really tried to figure out what women need and want in their cars and deliver it in a way that's attainable. So Buick, you could say, is slowly becoming a female brand and not a male brand. And then, of course, OEM do the homework in terms of marketing and customer focus groups. Focus groups are generally comprised of women. And then Volvo, yada yada yada, changing direction, and that's it. But it seems car makers are aiming the cars at women, but women are becoming increasingly single, so they have to fend for themselves money-wise. And do they have enough money to finance cars for themselves? As I said before, Aston Martin, the rich women, but are they married to a wealthy man? And it's not their own money, it's his money. And in Korea, the women are becoming the car buying power, but once again, there's the fall in birth rate, and women are on their own. They have to use their own money, and women generally don't like using their own money. But over in America, Are the car designs in America going to be female focused and not so macho? It's an interesting thing, but it's probably, this video is just a one-off for this, so I'll try and find something more on the MGTOW line for next week. But for now, you know the routine, people. Like, dislike, etc. Completely up to you. And this video, I think, is over the 30-minute mark, so I'll leave it at that. Until next Monday, that's it for now. Bye bye.